everybody, it's Chanchai. Today I'm going to be doing a training session with Savantik. He's from the southern United States, and he's been an awesome member in the community, especially in the Discords, and on all of them. And yeah, I'm glad we're going to get to work together, going to have a good sparring session. We'll work it from there. They wanted to see if there was some stuff I could help them with. They've been doing great in their fights, but I guess they've met some challenges, and they want to see if they can overcome some of those. So we'll get over that. And yeah, I'm having a great Friday. I hope everyone else is having a good Friday too. Chatbox is still a little wonky on my stream, but I will get to fixing that this weekend. It's just got to reinstall like a new module and completely reset it. I don't know why it's doing what it does, but it is doing what it does, and we'll figure that out. But it is still there. It's just gonna be some of the messages will be cropped a little. Anyways, I hope everyone's doing good. I'm gonna go ahead and message Savantik and get our session going.
What are you waiting for? Come get some.
So we're gonna go ahead and create a room, and we will invite them. Let's see here. Spectator off. That's good. Okay. But they'll probably need a little bit of time, as I kind of gave them last minute notice there on that. We had been chatting, but I didn't prompt him to get ready for to play. So that said, I haven't fought them in a while, so we'll see where they're at in their game right now. Even if I could help them, but I think we could, and I think it'll be a good session. Okay, they're having troubles with technical difficulties with Steam, so we're just gonna go ahead and kind of do what we can here. So while they solve the technical difficulties, we'll probably just go ahead and play on Steam a little bit, or yeah, in ranked. We haven't done that in a while, so it should be fun, and we can always improvise. Let's see, it's been a while since we've done this, so I don't know, it's been quite a while. So let's look at our player data. Alright, we haven't played much ranked at all, but we're at about, looking at 80% there. I guess they call it qualifiers. That's ranked, I think. 80%, yeah. Let's see.
Time for a combat seminar.
Leon's the only character we've played on ranked. We've only played 263 matches. We haven't played much at all. We usually play in rooms. I usually play in rooms, and of course the leagues. And I've been really busy the last few months. Just working on a lot of projects and trying to prepare, trying to get the next job. And so as I've been doing that, I haven't played as much. I haven't allowed myself to actually play freely as much, just only by appointments. But we've had a lot of fun matches here, Last person we fought was apparently Kung Fu Smurf, and let's see how it goes until they're ready. When they're ready, they can just I'll solve no problem. But alright, we'll see how this goes. That said, it's good to be live. It's been a while. I hope everyone's been doing well. I forgot to change it to go onto YouTube here. So let me check, see if there's any messages that were popped on YouTube during that time. And I apologize if there was, and if I missed them, but I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna catch you real soon. Alright. No views yet, so we're good. We're good. Alright, we'll fight. Hey, Space Time, good to see you. I hope you're doing very, very good. I am doing well. Alright, here we go. Yes. Okay, Lightwing, let's do it. It's been a while since we fought.
Round one. Ready, go!
Good. Good. So I haven't fought Lightwing. I don't know what to expect from them, but we will see how this goes. The lag's not too bad for us, it is. Okay, using the sweeps is good against me because I do like to step, and I know that they do watch me, so this is good. It's always good to practice. Timing is a little tough because normally we can kind of get this, so that's something that we're gonna have to learn. We are not at the range. Lightwing will probably take this, and I know Lightwing doesn't rematch, and that's okay. I don't mind that. Alright, by the way, Lightwing, it's always good to see you, and it's been a while since we fought. The connection feels really good. So I'm really happy that we can fight. Got the crumple. We'll take that though.
Knockout. Round 5. Ready, go!
Good. Alright, we ducked into that. That's okay. Good game, Lightwing. Good game. So, we unfortunately made unfortunate whiffs. If you whiff against Lei Fei, you will eat a lot of damage. Hey, I'm doing good space time. Gonna be going to session soon, and we're gonna go into session later today. And yeah, anyways, it was good fighting Lightwing. Again, it's not a surprise. They only do one and done. That's kind of what they're known for, and it doesn't bother me. The hard part about Lei Fei, if you whiff, especially if you're lightweight, you will eat a lot of damage. And so I whiffed, and that was my bad. I gotta work on that, and gotta like understand my threat range a lot better. It's really, really important. So those were stuff I gotta work on. That 3K did get me, but I think it was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed the fight. So.
Round 1. Ready, go!
Alright, good. Use a low. Alright. Alright, D.G is an amazing player. I always love fighting with them. It's good to be back on VF. It's been a while. We don't have that timing down on offline. Not yet. I like that. That was so good. That was really, really good.
Ready, go!
I like this opening too. It's very strong actually. That's a good opening. Good. I like, so the delayed low is fine. The committed low is actually where D2G has a hard time. Okay, delay was our downfall there. Very good. So we did something that was not enough range because the backdash, and that's okay. It's just they didn't move forward, and that was good. Good. I was surprised that this the elbow did not hit. Good. They're getting used to using these lows. Ah, that was bad. That was a very, very awkward finish, but it was a really excellent battle. I'm looking forward to game 2. Hey, move quick, it's so good to see you. And Real Fish Beard, good to see you. Funny enough, I just got off VF, I'm about to head to work. Have a good day at work, and thanks for stopping by. I hope you're doing really, really good, Real Fish Beard. And move quick, again, really, really good to see you. Good. Good. Okay, I like it. Alright, let's see how this goes. I like that commitment. That was a really good commitment there. That was also really good here, the fake into that. Man, that thing is so good. Alright, don't whiff, don't whiff. Good use of backdash, good zoning. I like this 1P right away. So this was my fault for doing the uppercut. I actually kind of knew to throw, but the uppercut was greedy, and that was really good. He punished really well, and that was the proper punish. I think it's just barely. That is just barely, but the uppercut, that was a good punish for it. But yeah, well, it was -3, so that was correct. Hey Bronx, yeah, well, this time I was planning to do a training session. Didn't work out, but it might later. But it's okay, that happens. Okay, good to know. He goes for the guard break. That's interesting. I wouldn't go for the guard break on that, but that must be really good. It must work really well for him. Good. Good. That was an intense battle, D to G. Always, always good battles, my friend. Always, always really good battles. I love fighting D to G. It's, again, really awesome to see you all. I hope you guys have been doing good this week. I've been having a good week. Let's see. I guess you gotta pick. I haven't played ranked in a long time. It's very, very fun. And Lightwing Dragon, good to see you. It was a lot of fun fighting you. I hope you had I hope you enjoyed the match. I definitely did. I enjoyed our fight. So it's good to see you here. I hope you've been doing really well. Alright, so I don't know who KamadaP is, but that is awesome. Good to see you. Let's work on, let's see what to expect with KamadaP. Good. Almost. I like that. I like that very much. I had a feeling the second kick would get him.
Round 2.
Might not the second time.
Ready, go!
This is really cool. I like this Leon very much. KamadaP, good stuff.
Knockout.
KamadaP has a really good Leon. I like this. We're doing 125. That's good.
Go!
Almost. That was a really fun game. I'm looking forward to game 2. KamadaP has a really good Leon. Expect Leon game 2 to be even closer. This was so much fun. So much fun. Hey Reaper, good to see you.
Round 1.
Well played as always, Lightwing. Likewise.
Go!
We didn't get our timing down. Alright, this is what we're feeling the rollback a little bit. Almost topped. Almost topped. We preoccupied ourselves with that failed hop though. It's a little too much.
Knockout.
Okay, they are assertive. They're going to use attacks. Don't use throws when your life is low. Instead, mix up.
Go!
I like this very much. That was good.
Knockout.
I thought this uppercut would cheat the punch. I thought the uppercut would cheat the punch there.
Round 3. Ready,
Low
go!
Okay. That was good. Very good. I like their choices. I haven't fought a Leon that fights this way, and I think it's good.
Knockout.
I'm processing it, and I don't mind the loss there, but it's their choices are nice. They're different. They're very different, and I like it. It's not like it's off the wall or anything. They're very reasonable. It's the way he uses 4P, right? He's using 4P in very particular situations to kind of cut off certain things that people might typically jab or throw, and that's good, right? And then right now he's showing me a lot of good stuff. This one was good because I thought I evaded the correct way, but did not. That was a good choice. It's a good choice. I had a feeling, but I didn't go with the feeling. That was really good.
Ready, go! Excellent.
Yeah, it's really fun playing ranked. I just been busy,
Go!
and usually my time doesn't go well with the rank time. Very good. The guard problem. I hate guard. Oh, I thought I would peck him with this. Good meaty. He's doing my meaty. That was a really good one. Really good meaty.
Ready, go!
Oh, I thought I'd get that. I thought I would catch him on the evade with this one. I thought the timing would get just there, but nah. That was a good battle. Really fun stuff, KamadaP. I like your Leon. I enjoyed that very much. I'll definitely be adding you. And I hope we fight some more. I would love more rematches because I haven't fought this KamadaP before. And I like it. I like a lot of the stuff I see. Very calm, measured Leon, not chaotic at all. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun battles. Alright, that was a little greedy. Don't be too greedy. Practice against strings. Alright. 1-1-1. Let's see who we got. Alright, we got Blackstar. Blackstar playing on Aoi. Excellent. I love it. I love fighting Blackstar a lot. Very strong. I have never fought their Aoi. So this is really, really excellent. This is going to be a lot of fun.
Ready, go!
Should do low throw a bit, just to test the opponent. Okay, they can wait actually for doing that jab. That's pretty nuts. This is fun getting sharp again too. It's been a while. That was unfortunate. Hey Reaper. What's new to you two again? I forgot. I wasn't sure what I talked about. But it's good. Reaper, I'm always glad to have you on the chat. Alright, that was a good game, Blackstar. Good game. Blackstar and Aoi? Yeah, very new to me. Yes, very new to us. I like it, but I think it's a good thing. I think it's gonna build extra skill, like even more skills for Blackstar. Keep this up, Blackstar. Hey, LD Wells, so good to see you. Let's go. I know you hyped from trailer. Actually, I am. Look, Virtua Fighter story mode is gonna be gorgeous. That's what we know. We know that it's gonna be gorgeous. We know that I do think it's a new character. It looks very young. Body type's very different. I'm surprised people thought it looked swole. I'm like, that does not look swole. That's like gotta be a joke. But alright, let's see. It looks like Chinatown, either from China or from Hong Kong. Always doing stuff like that. That was awesome Sabaki. Blackstar, that was an awesome Sabaki. It is like Baku Baku. It reminds me of Baku Baku Animo. It's not on purpose, but yeah. Good. This is awesome. And now, okay, we already have a read here. We have a read. I like that. Good, I like that too. This 3-3-P plus K is a little too much though. There are better options.
Round 3. Ready, go!
That was intense. That was a lot of fun. We're trying to sharpen some of our responses though, because there are certain things we know they're gonna do. I like that. All right, we had a rollback here. That was a really, really fun battle, Blackstar. Keep it up. That Aoi is really cool. I think 3-3-P is not bad, but if your opponent shows that they can break the stagger, you should change what you do or guard cancel the 3-3-P plus K. Either of those two. But I think I showed you that I punished the 3-3-P plus K twice, and I know it wasn't max punish, and you're used to people that max punish, but even a PK is threat, and you should definitely still just change the option to either you could keep doing 3-3-P plus K if you guard cancel it, but I would actually do other options. Aoi has so many strong options now. Like she has a lot of strong options there. So that's just my opinion. But I do think it's not that the 3-3P plus K by itself is bad. It's just that I was constantly guard punishing it, even with PK. And yeah, PK is not much. It's still punished, and it was still losing you the situations on average. If you had won one of those, then that changes everything. That means that the odds were in your favor then. I doubt new VF is coming out until... well, the thing is that I've been expecting the VF to come out... I've been expecting that we've had at least a year and a half for a while. That's not like a surprise. Especially after EVO, I'm like, oh, it looks, probably going to be around then. So, I don't know if I guess people are surprised. I'm not surprised on that it might be a while. They've been pretty honest about that this game as well. And I've been hearing word that they've been given a lot of... I'm gonna double check my messages. I've been given, I've been hearing rumbles or just, I don't know, gossip that basically that this game is gonna take a while. And I think it's mostly from people that have been to events, right? That it just that there's a long runway for this game. I don't know where I heard it, but I heard that. And so, I've known for a while this, but also you look at World Stage's rollout. And I think that tells you there's quite a bit of time. There's quite a long time. This is not like popping King of Fighters 98 online or Guilty Gear XM Plus Store with netcode right before Strive. It's a little different than that. World Stage is a full release. I mean, it really is. And so for me, I'm like, I think they've got at least a year, but I think a year and a half. And if a year, it's cool. If it's a year and a half, it's cool. But also, the way that I look at, here's the thing. At EVO, I didn't know what to expect. I wasn't expecting to see gameplay. I thought we would see art. As you guys know, I've well said, going into EVO, I thought at best we're gonna see like a teaser, maybe a character reveal, but if that, but probably art, right? And that's because I just didn't think that they had gameplay to show. And I think it's really early. I think there's a lot of decisions still to be made, even on the gameplay. I think they got ideas of where the engine's going. And so when we got what we got at EVO, I was really surprised that they showed us as much as they did at EVO. Now, I did get my hopes up because they're like, hey, look for the TGS. At the same time, a week ago, I think it was an interview or it was a post on social media that Yamada said, look forward, we will talk about the footage from EVO, like at TGS. That's what he said. And I'm like, well, I kind of hope it's more than that because they're putting on a stage and they're doing all this. But I guess that's what he's saying, and that's literally what they brought, right? Now, for me, people have a right to be disappointed. They do. They have a right to be upset. Everyone has a right to feel how they want. Am I upset? Not exactly. Am I disappointed? Not exactly. But I was expecting different things, and everyone knows that I am always lowering my expectations before events typically. This might be one of the times where I'm like, maybe they've got a lot more to show. So this time I actually raised it. But usually I just tell myself, just take what they got because it's a ways off before the new VF, and be pleasantly surprised, be happy. Like, not just be happy with anything. It's not like that. It's that for me, I was surprised they would show as much as they did. And so then, the hints, the clues, the communications, which again, I'm not blaming the consumer on this. I'm not blaming the FGC on this because not everybody follows Sega's social media. Not everybody follows every little bit of news that comes out or every interview that comes out, right? Most people don't know that there's the Art of Virtua Fighter featurette talking during Frosty Faustings. Not many people know that Sega made like a 12-minute video about the motion capture and all that stuff in the new VF, right? Most people still don't know that. So again, I know most people are just going to work on the information that they are willing to go out to get or that comes their way. In this case, TGS info is coming their way. There's not much going on in the cycle that's disrupting them from that actually, except for other game news from TGS. So I get that. what I would have changed personally, I mean, hindsight's 2020, but I'm also like, yeah, I think, I mean, what it looks like to me is it looks like Sega were like, hey, let's do something nice for Evo, and like, let's give them more than just that character tease at the end that we saw, and telling them to go TGS. Like, let's actually give them a chunk of what we're gonna do at TGS, and let's give them that sneak preview, because they appreciate the gameplay, and this is the fighting game community. They appreciate these details. They'll know what to do with this, you know. And it's like a demo type of thing, but they'll get it, and we can explain it. But like, let's go ahead and give them the video now at Evo, right? And in my view, it probably would have been better if they just did that 30-second tease video at the end, the character tease. If they did that at Evo and then said, go watch Tokyo Game Show to see gameplay, to see actual gameplay, and hear us talk about it, right? Does that sound better to you? Technically, that's kind of what the community says it would have worked better that way. The expectations would have been, they wouldn't know what to expect, but they might be surprised if they saw gameplay at Tokyo Game Show. Instead, with this sequencing, we have the community kind of processing it at Evo real time, because some people are so excited and some people are like, what am I watching? Some people are like, why is this not a trailer? But a lot of hardcore VF fans were happy with what they saw at Evo. But basically the problem is you got the video at Evo, and then a month and a half later you have the panel, and you're like, and that's why the community is like, dude, we saw this a month and a half ago. What the hell are you doing here? Why are you blue balling us, Sega? You know, and it's like, and so, you know, the sequencing, I think, matters. I think it plays out a little differently because of that. And this community is very antsy, and yeah, they would still complain that there was no trailer, right? That would still be a complaint. I'm like, you know, I think we're a ways off, and I think doing the panel with just the gameplay footage at TGS would have at least conveyed to a decent chunk of the people, there's some time for this. This is not coming out that soon, right? So, yeah. My advice to my friends, my community, to people that watch, we're in an era where you can kind of watch things as if they were live even when it's not live. So, I'm sorry for people that felt that they sacrifice sleep over this versus whatever they might sacrifice sleep over other things, but you know, at the same time, I guess we can try to manage our time and stuff, and we can still get like a live experience when we wake up. We can. Now sometimes we got work and stuff, so then we readjust the schedule a little bit that way, but we still could do that. But you know, I think Sega's sorry for that. And I like, if you follow Yamada's Twitter account though, it is actually posting he's actually answering interesting questions. Somebody asked Jeffrey, is Jeffrey versus the Shark, like, what's the deal with that? And he's like, that score, it's time to settle that score. And so that was interesting. Now hopefully that doesn't mean Jeffrey doesn't come back and we find out the Shark won. That would suck. But hopefully it means, but it is interesting if they actually put that in the story, but we'll see, but they probably will. Yeah. In the Philippines would be really cool. That would be pretty cool. But yeah. I honestly think early 2027 is reasonable, but it could be late 2027. We'll see what they do. But here's what I do love from that presentation, because as a VF hardcore, right, I'm patient and I love this game. I will play this game for so long. Like, even if VF6 wasn't coming out, you know I'd be playing this game, because I really love Revo, actually, a lot. And the online, it has never been this good, and I know to some people they want even better, but I honestly think everything I can do offline I can actually do online. Now offline, could I be even sharper? Yes, but am I react punishing? Am I whiff punishing? Am I doing stuff that even 10 years ago I struggled to do offline? Yeah, I'm doing it online too. And I play online and offline throughout the week. Like I play them both. I play offline about 3-4 days a week. And I play online about 2 to 3 days a week right now, though normally 4 days a week. So I should say that. So that's having said that. So I'm very patient, and here's what matters to me is that they make the next VF really good. Now they need to make it for a new generation, not exactly for me, but I hope I will love it. But I want to see it totally nail it. I do want to see it totally nail it, and so I take all those critiques that I see people put out and take them seriously too. Even I'm not dismissing them, but I am also looking at a long-term view of how this plays out. And people are like, man, the hype is completely killed, and I'm like, okay, but then you're gonna have the hype back later. It's like saying that Tekken Tag 2 killed Tekken for some people, and then you're like, the hype is dead, and it's like, well, the hype is still going up, you know. Tekken 7, same deal. Tekken 7 really lost a lot of fans, and then it rebuilt a lot of fans, and then it re-won a lot of fans. So fighting game community, like if you look at a long-term view, that's what the fighting game community looks like, right? Street Fighter 5 to Street Fighter 6, Street Fighter 5 end of it. But I understand how people feel, and you got to speak to how people feel. Not denying that at all. But at the same time, what matters is more about those 9 to 12 months leading into the game's release. That's what's going to matter more than anything. Right now, it's a little different, right? And because trust me, if they showed something really cool right now, people would be crying. There would be people upset that it's not coming out like in 3 months or something, right? It's like, but it's true that the hype, there is lost hype. There is opportunity lost, 100%. But at the same time, the most important hype is going to be in that release window and all the promotion leading up to it and all the feelings that people have up through the game's release and after the game's release. So we'll see how that goes. And we definitely want the most hype possible. Everybody wants that. But we'll see. Thanks. So CP Skills talked about the stick overlay. The stick overlay is the trail pad. I actually really like it. I didn't overlap where I am using both the directions as well as the trail. So this is the trail pad. Now I'm using Streamlabs OBS. Regular OBS, this thing works better on, but in Streamlabs OBS, I actually cannot double click. I have to edit a file somewhere, or edit code, because that's why the buttons say A, X, and Y. Whereas if you're using normal OBS, which is free, I'm just too lazy to set it up right now. I have it set up. I'm just too lazy to set up my overlay on it. But on that, you just double click the buttons and then you tell it what you want it to say. You know, you put in the text you want on there. You could put punch in there if you wanted. So yeah. But anyways, I do think Trailpad is pretty awesome, and I think he's making many different modules, like an offline version that's not for streaming, and also it's good. He's creating a tool to where you could actually use it to help you to write out the combos, and I think that's pretty sick. Now it is more focused on 2XKO and Street Fighter 6, but definitely check out Trailpad. You can find it on X on Twitter. You can find it there first, and then go from there. There's a website. So MoveQuick says the only thing that surprised me is their advertising strategy. I think they need to get ahead of their reveals so that they can have an already stream of exciting things to show. The way they're doing it right now will kill hype for a lot of people. I think Sega actually, on some of their broad properties, I think they've been pretty good, like Sonic and Shinobi actually. When it comes to VF, it's definitely an interesting thing because it's a very ultra hardcore but vocal crowd with a lot of noise, especially if you go on X, right? When I look on Blue Sky, that's where I don't see that much negativity about this reveal. When I look at Twitter, Japanese Virtua Fighter Twitter, they're pretty chill, but they're happy. But maybe there's a couple of complaints, because there always is. But it's not like the outrage thing. In fact, a lot of them seem pretty happy at Tokyo Game Show. But that said, this is a global product, and so it is a global marketing. And so yes, it has to be looked at global marketing, and that has to include fighting game community. And the fighting game community is the opinion leaders that are going to amplify the hype that goes to the mainstream to a degree when the time comes. So yes, fighting game community matters because the mainstream crowd is going to be, well, what do my fighting game community friends think? And that's actually going to affect their narrative 100%. So I'm not going to dispute the value of the early hype and the sustained long-term hype of the fighting game community for that. So I do think, yeah, fighting game community members probably could see more likely, could be more agile in the marketing efforts for Sega on this. That said, here's another perspective. You see it with Nintendo for sure, and maybe you see it with Sega. I've heard about it in the past, but there's a lot of strengths for like a Japanese game company, right? Japanese game company is not likely to run into the same issues that like we see from EA or Activision or Blizzard, right? It's different. It's different, and it's different from Europe, from European devs too. But Japanese developers, Japanese publisher, really, with their development arms, you're going to see something a bit different. And the strength is going to be that I think the Japanese developers kind of let their developers be a little more stable and a little more, maybe even a little more artistic nowadays, especially, or at least be more stubborn, and that's good or bad. But I think but the tricky thing from what I've seen from communications with different companies, and all companies, there is like a lot of red tape, a lot of we got to get approval, got to go up the chain, got to get approval. But I think when you deal with the North America or the European arms of like a Japanese publisher, I think you have even more red tape. Like that's completely, everything I've seen suggests that. Everything I've seen is, we'll get back to you. Everything I've seen is, yeah, we'll let them know. And then they have to really wait for approval on like a lot of things. This means that the agility is very limited by the red tape, by the people. I mean, Americans would call it bureaucracy, but it's really just, it's the chain of command, it's the process. And so I think, Nintendo's probably even tighter. Sega still seems kind of tight. Just from what I've seen a little bit. So I think that's going to be one of those things that's tough, and one of those things where it will help them to have community members in their departments. At the same time, it still has to go through that, still has to go through chain of command, still has to go through the proper channels. And so, and it is very much multi-departmental. So it's interesting to see that. So I try to think about that too. That said, I think I've told other people that I've been really interested in marketing work, and that's what I've been gearing myself towards. So that's why I try to think about it that way. But it would be a dream to work at a game company like Sega. But we'll see. I would really love that though. I'll be honest. I would really, really, really love to work at Sega. Even if there were all those challenges and stuff, it would be like a dream come true. So, but that said, I'm not just thinking in that front. You guys, everybody in this community knows that I've always been thinking like throughout a bigger picture view of things, and I'm like, well, this is how I see it, but this is where I see how people are, this is where I see how they're reacting right now versus how they'll be 6 months from now versus 9 months from now. I've always thought that way, and that's how I think about it when I run a business. That's how I think about it in all works that I've done, and that's also the way I think about it when I'm doing an event. I'm looking at the whole weekend and I'm forecasting, but I'm also trying to make best of a situation right away, and I'm also, for myself, getting all the good stuff I can get out of everything, right? So that's why I tend to be positive. That's how you get the best work out of your team. That's how you, but you do anticipate. You anticipate all the negative stuff. You do look at that. You definitely go, oh, I would totally resequence this, or I think we should resequence this. Those are decisions I have to make on, like in the restaurant, when I've done catering, when I've done events work for Super Evil Megacorp. Even in that capacity, and because of the way that I work, even when I did that work, I would get asked by staff members at the venues, are you like the director? Are you like in charge of things? Like, no, I just work here. But it's because I really try to think about it all and try to solve these problems before they happen. And also see the problem, and then also address the problems in real time, but also make sure that people come away happy. So people do see me as positive. I'm not blind to the negative stuff. I just like, well, let's see how we make that better and we manage it. And that's how I've always worked. And I don't try to amplify the negative noise because I don't find that helpful for me or for the goals or for getting things to a better place. But I definitely will address them, and I definitely do think about them. But I also am like, because it's the same thing in customer service. Like, the best way to do an apology is you got to acknowledge it right away. You got to acknowledge responsibility, and then you also got to show that you're really serious about fixing it and what you're going to do, and then you're honest about how you fix it, and when people see that sincerity, they understand, no, you got this, and you screwed up or something. It means the world to them. Of course, there's a limit to how much you can do that, but that is like generally how we go through those things. That said, Yamada's Twitter account has a lot of good stuff to read on there, actually. He answers interesting questions, and they are in a very Japanese kind of way, so, please understand that there might be some cultural friction, but I think he's doing a fantastic job on that. And I think it is true that a lot of the Japanese players generally they like a lot, but I think they also weren't expecting like so much stuff anyways. I do think our fighting game community has expected a lot, and that's nothing wrong with that. So yeah. Alright, let's see. But yeah. So I think a lot of people have some ideas. I think players that have gone to events, actually, they've been yes, they've been antsy and wanting stuff, but like players like the Rock Reaper, I think they kind of know that the new VF is a ways off because we follow it. So I think it's mostly people that are checking in. What's the news? What's the scoop? Those are the people most disappointed, and it's important to not make them upset, right? It's not a good look when Maximilian Dude is kind of like, like that's really bad, right? And King J is like, dude, right? So I get that, but I also appreciate, like, Emery Reigns was very, very good on his reaction video because he was, looking at it objectively, following each point, but then at the end he was like, man, I wish there was a lot more. Like, man, that's all you're gonna show. Like, and in his video, he's kind of like, why you show us like what feels like 10 seconds? Why not just save that for later? And that's a very good point, right? And everything Shidosha says, very, very good point. So yeah, so that's what we're dealing with right now. Yeah, not gonna lie. Because Shidosha had mentioned that about him and Sega marketing, I would love to be on that team too. So it's like I think like Shidosha and I chat quite a bit, and I would love it if both Shidosha and I were on that team. But like that would be a dream come true. I'm just putting that out there. No one's gonna listen to that, but I honestly I would love it if both of us were on the team. So, but yeah. Yeah, and Move Quick made a really good point response to the Rock Reaper. Yeah. And I also agree with a lot of what the Reaper's saying too. Yeah. Jimmy Claymore, it's okay. It's okay. I feel it, Jimmy. I feel it for everyone too. I do. Like I said though, for me, I just kind of imagine that all that we've seen, combined EVO and TGS, that was supposed to be the TGS event. And then I think it felt like they wanted to do something nice for the EVO crowd because it is important. And they gave a lot to the EVO crowd. But what it is they gave like the whole entree of that meal. And then everybody's getting the rest of it at TGS, and it feels very, very differently. in that order. You know, it's like, here's the steak, and it's not the best steak, but this is the steak we can give in 2025. So this is a great steak for 2025 because we're a ways off, and we want your feedback. We want to hear what you think. And then I think they felt it was a nice idea to let the players think about the gameplay, and then they would talk about it. I think they felt that, like, as a dev, they probably felt, yeah, let's do that, because this is kind of part of their product development. Actually, you guys should understand though, so understanding the disappointment and the frustration, take what they did talk about and give them feedback. What do you think about the guard button? What do you think about changing the control scheme? What do you think about momentum engineering in Virtua Fighter? What do you think about what these vague things we said about the systems? What do you like? What do you not like? What is your fear? What is your hope? And tell Sega right now, because they are listening right now. And if anything that World Stage has shown, their team on World Stage has been listening to a lot of player complaints and comments. They are doing a modern form of product development. You know, when I was young, product development wasn't really like incorporating the customer, but the internet changed that. Online has changed that for about 25 years. And it actually looks like Sega's doing that. You know why I think that? Because of this event, but also because talking to friends who went to EVO, to Combo Breaker, to EVO Japan, to Frosty Faustings, and they told me the conversations they had with Sega there. And you know what? I saw some of that feedback they gave coming into these interviews that we're hearing now, into this week's event. This team has old members, it has a lot of new members, and it seems to be using a lot of modern product development, which is incorporating what the fans say they want, what the fighting game community says it looks like. So you gotta communicate with Sega, even though it's a little hard to find the ways to do it. I know it's taking effort to do that, but whatever way you find, whether it's the Sega Discord or the official Virtua Fighter Discord or the Sega Discord, or even DMing the people on their social media team, send it to them, because all the stuff they're telling me, all the stuff they said in that event, all the stuff I'm hearing from friends who went to Virtua Fighter events this year, it tells me that Sega is actually incorporating that feedback. You know, if you look at like Himejan's posts right after EVO, he kind of alludes to some of the stuff that was talked about this week, talking about the diagonals 3-3, like how hard it is on leverless players to be comfortable, or pad players to be comfortable with the evade crouch dash. Okay, and so that feedback is going upward. So it's not the feedback I might have given, but that's the feedback that he relayed, that he heard was talked about. These conversations are going somewhere, and I think they really are doing product development in a modern way, incorporating live feedback, and even asking themselves, even listen to the whole presentation. There is the vagueness, and some of the open questions are actual open questions. So use it. Tell them what you want. Tell them what you're afraid of. But make it a good reasoned argument too. Try to make a good reasoned argument to them, because that's your best shot. But you know what? A friend of mine, Steel Baz, has a way with words, and he used expressions like racist character imbalance when he talked about Final Showdown. And so later on, when I saw that alluded to in an interview from Aoki, I was like, that really does sound like they listened to the way that Steel Baz was talking about. Now, he was talking about sexist character balance, you know? But later on, you kind of saw a better worded version of that, you know? And, but let them know how you feel. I think they're listening. I think they're developing the product. And as a fan, I'm kind of happy about that. I'm patient for a really good game. And I think we have an amazing game already. I know not everybody's going to appreciate this amazing game we have. And this is still going to be one of the most amazing games to me ever, even after the new VF comes out. But that's kind of why I'm patient. That's kind of why I'm just really interested in the news they bring out and the info they give out, but also patient about the overall rollout, because I just know I'm not going to get all the stuff I want to know. Of course, I'd much rather be in there helping guide it, but yeah, like that's ever going to happen. But the best that I could do with that then is to send them my feedback, is to tell them what I think and share that. And like a player like Jimmy Claymore has so much good stuff to say, so much good perspective. Have you guys read Gentleman Thieves' tweets on X? They were really good. I have my own thoughts, and I think my thoughts are good too. But I think what he said was really, really good stuff, right? He talked about, you know, maybe they will have a back to block, but that flow guard might actually be the regular guard that we know, this guard button. And it's just that maybe better, maybe worse, but it might be that. Whereas back to block happens to be in there for people that really need to eventually figure out that they should use the flow guard button. And I'm okay with that. Now that said, it makes me wonder how they'll design Backdash, because I like Final Showdown, but the new game's not going to be Final Showdown, but I do think being intentional with Backdash is cool. But you know what? That backsway, that being part of an evade system, well, that can make up for what Backdash is here. So that makes back for block fine for me, right? There's a lot of different ways I can look at this. But at least I can still have a way to punish somebody if I have the range and the game's dynamically realizing, hey, you can really cause a big whiff. I think that's cool. That's what I still want, right? That's what I want from the Backdash. And that thing is definitely punishable. So then back to block is okay, right? It's just if it's a weaker block. If it's something that's like so-so. Now, what would be my fear? Well, my fear is that then we have something like Korean backdashing in VF, where people just keep walking away. But you know what? I think if you keep walk away, you might be susceptible to the break and rush system. We'll see. Alright, I'm going to catch up on what everyone's saying, and you guys go ahead and keep sending messages, because I see a lot of awesome messages in here. I know Ray Blade's in there. Awesome to have you here, Ray. I always love Ray's feedback too. Ray is very tell it like he thinks it, and it's always good stuff to check out what Ray has to say. He also expresses what a lot of players around him might think or say too. So it's always good. The Rock Reaper, though, definitely one of my favorites on, but probably because we have a lot of alignment on a lot of things. We don't agree on everything, but we have a lot of alignment. So I think, well, the combat director has been on, obviously he said that he was from the sound team originally, but that he had moved himself into the VF team long ago, and he is a veteran. We have veterans that are at the top. When we talk about new teams, we're talking probably a lot of the artists and a lot of other areas. But as far as the directors and designers, I think a lot of them are veterans. Yeah, nothing gonna top that for a while. It is my lifestyle game. I honestly think what we're seeing from the Evo footage is early, but it's conceptually giving us a lot. It's obvious. I think it's going to look even better in the final.
Round one. Ready, go!
Yeah, everyone's. No, for sure. When they say the hype is dead, it's definitely an emotional response. Here's what I would say, though. You know, when people are frustrated, that is a form of hype. So, that said, there's a limit, right? If you have too much frustration, then it's just like, I don't care anymore. That's what you're afraid of. You're afraid of the I don't care anymore. But you know what? I've seen a lot of people say I don't care anymore, going like, kind of like, you guys seen the movie Independence Day? It's like the Randy Quaid character, you know? You know, wait, which movie am I thinking about? I'm not thinking of Independence Day. I'm thinking of Major League, right? Randy Quaid in Major League, when he's just so down on the Cleveland Indians, and he just so like, right? And then they bring Jimmy Vaughn, And then they bring Vaughn back, and he's all in again, and he's just like, okay, there's the hype guy. You know what I mean? So I think Randy Quaid in Major League, where he's just like, you know, he's like so he's like, you know, Wild Thing is so dead to him, and then all of a sudden he's screaming, singing Wild Thing again at the end of the movie. So I'm, you know, sorry not sorry, but that's like how it kind of looks to me when I see people that are like, hype is dead, right? Because a lot of people that I see that are like that, I'm telling you, watch the Tekken community. You know, I see a lot of U-turns. This is pretty much ovals in the long term. You know, this is a whole oval in the long term. You know, the game is dead. The devs know what they're doing. The game is dead before the patch came out. Oh, this is gonna save the game. I'm not playing this game anymore. A week later, playing the game again. This is not everyone. For some people, the hype really does die. I'm not going to dismiss them, but for a lot of the noise, that is what it looks like too. So, yeah. But yes, they could totally do better. 100%. They should do better. 100%. Sega should do better. And yeah, people are looking for VF news, and I'm really glad that a lot of people want it. So welcome to Space said, I loved your analysis on the recent TGS presentation. I keep recommending it to people. Thank you so much. Thanks for the support. It means a lot to me. And honestly, I am going to do a big thank you video very soon. It's going to release soon. I am going to show off. I have a new logo. I'm excited to show it. I have a lot of thanks to give to a lot of people that have really supported and helped, and you guys included. So I am making a thank you video. It's one of the projects I'm working on right now, and I want you guys to know that I appreciate you so much, and I hope you guys will enjoy this video when I do release it. And I hope you guys will like the new logo. There's a story behind that too, and I think you guys are gonna love it. Yeah, and we'll keep going from there. But I am also gonna really show off the you know, the latest build on the fight stick that I've been working on, and other stuff too. But I think this video will be great. I hope you'll really like it. And welcome to Space. Thank you very much. I feel very welcome to you. So thank you so much, and thanks for all your support. I really appreciate that you've been sharing with others. I would really love to be. Yeah, I definitely thank you for that sentiment. They said that Welcome to Space says, I think you would be such a great liaison between the community and Sega. That means a lot to me. It really does. I try to balance the concerns of all of the different parties. I really do. It's the guiding force for the way that I've worked in all of the work I've done. And I found it to be very successful and very satisfying to all parties involved. Sometimes you can't please everyone, but most of the time you can do a lot to make sure everybody is thoroughly satisfied and moving forward together and in a good place. Of course, the exception being when we have like a disturbance, like somebody causing trouble, and I've had to deal with that too. And there's definitely interesting different ways to dealing with that. I've definitely had to take many approaches, but almost always we can come forward together, especially when there's good faith. Good faith is definitely one of the most important things that I sense in the parties that I work with, and if I don't sense it, then I might call it out and say, hey, I really want to get this. I want us to move forward, but we got to be working on this in good faith. We all have to want this positive outcome together, and I work on that, you know. So ENRUY the second. Hi Chanchai, liked your reaction to TGS. Thank you very much again. You guys, thanks so much. It means a lot to me. Balaba says, I'm kind of happy with the video since it seems to be set in Binondo. Awesome. That's a different thing. I don't know anything about Binondo. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, but the Chinatown in Manila, it looks a lot like, it does look like a lot of Chinatowns that I've seen. And so I thought Hong Kong, but if that looks like Manila, that's awesome. You guys, okay. Now, that new character to me looks very Chinese, especially with the man bun and especially the clothing. But But a lot of people know that a style I would really like to see in the new Virtua Fighter would be Filipino martial arts. Now I know some people are gonna say, what about Kali, Arnis, Eskrima? I'm thinking them all combined. I'm like, we don't even need to. It's like Filipino martial arts have a character, they have a style. It is amazing up close combat. It is visceral. I mean, people love it and they don't know they love it because they see it in a lot of action movies in the West, especially where they're doing military combat. Filipino martial arts would be amazing to have in Virtua Fighter. To have, especially when you have more of an ultra close-up. Break and rush, that is Filipino martial arts to its core. What is Filipino, like some of the signature things in Filipino martial arts? Target the armpit. Why? Because the conquistadors, because the Spaniards and the Portuguese had armor that was open in the armpit and the neck and under and at the hip. So they kept striking in those areas. But the concept was break the weapon. So another thing, when you watch a movie and they're using the elbow, whether it's Banshee or military fights, and they use the elbow to block, to flow guard, if you will, a punch and destroy the fist, that is Filipino martial arts. Filipino martial has a lot of joint destruction, a lot of fist destruction, a lot of target and dismantle your opponent, whether they have a weapon or it's their body. And strike and constantly rapidly strike in very efficient manners that is very like tight motions. I studied under Al de Coscos, the father of Mark de Coscos, Wunhop Kundo, and basically he taught some of these. And actually in college I was an officer in my college's Filipino Student Association. It's actually called Isang Bansang Filipinos. I'm not even Filipino. But I did date Filipino. But anyways, but they even asked me to run for president of the organization, of the student organization. But I said no because it should be Filipino student, should be a Filipino American at least. And but I'm happy being an officer. But when I was in the Filipino Student Association for our school, I asked my sifu, Aldo Coscos, to come do a demonstration there, and he did, and all about Filipino martial arts, talking about the history, talking about the techniques and the themes, and a lot of people felt it was one of the most entertaining shows they saw in our student showcase show. So I do think Filipino martial arts would be amazing, and I think if that new character is a Filipino and is doing like Filipino martial arts, that would be like mind-blowing to me, because that's exactly what I want. And I think it would fit with what they just showed us. I think it would really fit with what they showed us. So anyways, what do you guys think about that? And if you guys haven't looked up Filipino martial arts, you should look up Arnis, Arnis. Most likely you'll see Kali, Kali. You rarely see Eskrima, but you could. Usually when people think about Eskrima, they're thinking about the sticks. But Filipino arts has a lot of knife fighting, fist fighting, and stick fighting. But it's very applicable to close quarters combat. So.
Round 3. Ready, go!
It's true though that a lot of people are like, I think there's a lot of corporate eyes on Virtua Fighter from other publishers, because they want to see how exciting fighting games are as a genre. Right now, if they only looked at like Street Fighter or Tekken to be it, that's not like new to them if those are successful. Even if Mortal Kombat's successful, that's not new to publishers. If Virtua Fighter nails it, that creates a complete new generation of fighting games, because that also says, hey, we could make an amazing fighting game too. Now, could they? Maybe not, but that's what they would think. They think they could invest in it. It would create more interest. So yes, I think Virtua Fighter doing well leads to Soul Calibur and Dead or Alive continuing, and even more new investments in fighting games. Of course, Tokan doing well will do that too. But I think Virtua Fighter doing it well will mean a lot to a lot of really, to certain styles of fighting games that a lot of us really love also, as well as Tokan. and 2XKO. I think 2XKO and Tokon are definitely having to carry a lot of weight for a while. But I think Virtua Fighter also carrying a lot of weight. But I think it's going to be amazing.
Knockout. Round 2. Ready, go!
I would love it if Mark Dacascos was the new VF character, dude. That would mean a lot to me. You know, there's a video somebody made this year about, you know, like Mark Dacascos as the greatest action actor that you don't know, you know. But man, Mark is awesome. He's really, really kind. He's as kind as he looks. So he's an incredibly kind person. Yeah, Mark Dacascos is an awesome person, martial artist, incredibly humble. But yeah, and I loved him being the villain in John Wick 3. I loved him in John Wick 3. Yeah, no, exactly. Henry II, I agree with you. When the Evo movie came out, I'm like, man, I can't believe how much they've got the game looking like the concept video, even before final renders, right? But like, how much they got of it to look like the concept is very impressive, and that it looks like gameplay, that we know it's gameplay. That's a huge deal. Yeah, going forward, that level of quality will take time. There's no other way, 100%. Any kind of shortcut in the word downgrades will appear, 100%. Yeah. Pac Manila, Pac, it's so good to see you. I'm fine with RG taking their time, but it seems like the news they gave in TGS wasn't worth mentioning waiting. Like I said, I understand that. But again, think of it as it was actually all meant to be one presentation, but we got it in 2 different events. The EVO and the TGS. I think it's easier to take what they gave if you look at it as if they had all done this at one event instead of 2 events, maybe that would have been better. And maybe they could have just done the character tease plus watch TGS for gameplay. But then again, people would have said they expected the gameplay to look like the cinematics, and that would also be a problem. But, you know.
This is for real. Say your
I do
prayer.
want to know more and more, but I understand you need time. Yeah, 100%. You're with me, man. You're with me. RG pumps out Yakuza games every year. I think VF Project will come out Q3 2026, like the leaks say. That will be interesting. I still think 2027, but that would be fascinating. If they nail it in 2026, that would be amazing. We will see. I definitely would prefer early part of the year instead of middle of the year. I don't really want it coming out right before EVO. I want it to come out in a time so people could build up in that EVO or whatever is the big tournaments, including Combo Breaker, will have like the best showing. That's what I want, you know. But then again, I want the best game more than that. But I do want all those together. Those are the balance of concerns. I wouldn't mind a single picture with a character name either. Yeah, I agree. I think right now it's so early that it's like you can do that and it's fine.
Ready, go!
It is normal. Well, marketing teams, public relations teams, community management teams, they do have to deal with hype levels and expectations of the community. It's just something that they have to deal with. So we can't say it's like the community's fault exactly, because it's something that was supposed to be factored in. But at the same time, it is true that like that's what sets us up for disappointment within ourselves. Within them doing their job, yeah, they're trying to anticipate and they're trying to get the most best outcomes as possible. That said, it is a whole campaign. It's not a single battle. It's a complete war. It's a whole theater of war. So you got to win the hearts in the long term, and it's not just every single battle. But you do hope that almost all of the battles are wins, and you do hope that they're all big wins. But over the long term, it's a big war. It's a big campaign. It's not just one event or 2 events or 3 events. It is a whole chain of events, And so overall, we'll see what they do. But ideally, they would like to have all wins on the board.
Round 2. Ready?
Arnel for the Filipino character name. Oh, I would really love it to be Filipino. I would. Not just because I dated Filipino. No, but Ray knows though that I grew up with a lot of friends that are Filipino. So, or at least Filipino Americans. And so there's something to that. But I also think Filipinos could use more representation. So that would be awesome. That would be much more interesting than some of the alternatives.
Round 3. Ready?
Right? Obviously, I would love Thai to be represented, but I think Filipino would be awesome representation. I definitely think Thai would be awesome, but Thai is represented in Tekken, you know, and in other games too. So Filipino is definitely a group that has not been represented much in video games. Pac Manila, it's very fair to say what you said about the the way they presented Uprising, and there's definitely, yeah. For me, it might not have been as off-putting, but it definitely was. Well, that's interesting. So you're right. You're right. So, Incident said, fun fact, Yoshinori Ono was on sound stuff way before Street Fighter 4. Okay, that's very true? Okay, awesome. Yeah. So, is the new character... I don't know. I can't tell if the T's character is new or OC. I think it's a new character, actually. I really do. I don't think the body reminds me of any current character. I don't think any of the way it moves reminds me of any current character. And if it does, it's a redesign. But I'm actually more interested if it's a new character, if I'm being honest. Thanks for that question, Brian. Thank you very much. They haven't told... Yeah, there is no official name. Here's what... I hope the name is not like 2XKO, right? I kind of like the name of Project L, and then when it was announced as 2XKO, that took me like 2 weeks to kind of finally accept that. If I'm being honest, it took me 2 weeks to accept 2XKO, and I wanted to call it Double KO, and they're like, it's not Double KO. I'm like, fine, don't let me call it Double KO. You know, but I was just like, man, this feels like someone trying to be way too cool. You know, and I don't like, this is not vibing with me. They'll say they don't care, but then start caring again when the game is closer to coming out. They will definitely say they care when the game... Yeah, Jin Tabasa's echoing what I was saying about the community and hype. So, but yeah. So I think when I look at the ground juggle, it's more that I see stun combos, and I've already said when I saw the first trailer that I think it was going to be stun combos, and also I think what I said in my analysis videos, I just see it as a faster paced Okuzeme game, which I like. I like what looks to me like kind of really fast Okuzeme. Same Okuzeme, really fast, like rapid. And I think it's very interesting. But I think they got to get the players to implement it. They got to get the players to feel it. So we'll see how they do that. Because you want to get new players getting in with that right away. It's true that Virtua Fighter's Okuzeme is very mysterious to a lot of people that aren't used to it. It was mysterious to me for a long time too. So I can't lie. It took me a while to really appreciate Final Showdown's Okuzeme. Because for a while I thought it was super simple too. Now I think it's amazing. Well, maybe there's a way to engineer that experience so people right away are getting to feel how good the Okuzeme is sooner and more intuitively. I do want more world stage info too, but you know, Blurring, good to see you. You know that we love world stage, so we're looking forward to that. But I think there's not much new information on world stage. But I think world stage coming soon, so that'll be exciting. Some people are wondering though if there's going to be another character beyond Durao. Yeah. So Springlog says, why do you think they started the new VF project these past few years? Did something significant happen? I think a number of things happened. So if I'm being honest, okay, so this is important. Yes, there's been a push for a new VF for a long time within Sega, from my understanding. It keeps coming up in interviews that there has been many times it's come up. So it's been something people have wanted inside Sega. But it seems like there were different obstacles in the way. Now, I don't know what those obstacles are. That said, if we look at separate thing on Sega, to me, from my understanding, looks like they've had a regime change. Not a complete regime change. They've had adjustments in leadership in different positions. The current president of Sega of America seems very, very important to Sega as a whole. And this is Shuji Utsumi. And honestly, Shuji Utsumi looks like he's killing it. Shuji Utsumi seemed to be one of the people that was championing the current approach that Sega's on, which is to the way, not just revitalizing old Sega games, which they've always done, the way they are doing it, why it feels fresh. Right now, welcome to the next level is where they're at, right? Right now, their slogan is welcome to the next level. But prior to this, if you look at investor reports, the financial reports, they had themes that were building up to welcome to the next level. And right now they are investing in more of the Western market, especially Americas, North America, but also South America a lot, actually. So Latin America is actually seen as a big potential growth market. They're looking at a more global audience. They're also focused on being more transmedia. That means they are looking at more of the films, like the Sonic films being successful has really pushed this forward. But you can see how they're ideas of like the Like a Dragon series, novels, but also the like even comics, like they're looking at an Eternal Champion style comic or Eternal Champion series, TV series, like a streaming series, and they're hoping that would be something more nourish if that might be popular. So they're looking at stuff like that. But really, Shuji Utsumi also said that he looks at Sega's IPs, and they focus. The big factor of this is not just bringing back everything. That's not really what it is. It's bringing back iconic Sega franchises, things that they have isolated having real potential. So, Jet Set Radio, Virtua Fighter is big on this list, but they saved that for last to announce it. They didn't announce it that first time. They want to save that for a bigger time. They want to be more ready, right? Look, we know how ready they are right now. They didn't want to try to pre-shoot the gun a year and a half ago, right? So a year and 9 months ago, they didn't want to do a premature announcing of Virtua Fighter. So that's why they didn't do it. They waited until last year. But Virtua Fighter is huge on this agenda. Right? Sonic is, of course, always going to be the centerpiece, no doubt about it. And Sega, with Shuji Utsumi, Sega sees itself as sort of like that label that has more of the edgier content than a Nintendo would, right? It has IPs that have more energy in them. Sonic, Virtua Fighter, Jet Set Radio, Crazy Taxi, right? And yeah, they're bringing Altered Beast, but Shinobi, and they're trying to get the nostalgia but bring it forward, and I think they're doing great. Honestly, the games that have come out not long for the last year or so have been good. Sonic X Generation's actually good. I haven't played the new Sonic Great World Racing. I really want to play it because everyone keeps telling me how good it is. Like, a lot of friends are telling me it's actually really good. Especially after, they have different opinions on Mario Kart, right? But they really love Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, right? And so I really love the new Shinobi. So right now, they have been focusing on all these things, but their focus now is better now than it has been before. It has a much more strong united feel behind it. And even the Sonic part feels united with it to me. So that's why I'm excited about what Sega has been doing for the past year and a half. Almost 2 years now. It's almost been about 2 years, I think, since Shuji Utsumi stepped up as into his role, right? Or stepped up towards this role. And so right now, Sega is very exciting. I think this is like one of the coolest times to be a Sega fan, because this is like the Sega. Everybody kept asking for this Sega for like 20 years. It's kind of here now, I think. So am I overhyping it? Yeah, that's because I'm sincerely hyped for it. I haven't been hyped for it before. You know, I'm just like, oh, okay, it's cool. And yeah, you know, and we know Sega ages. We know they've been doing this for a while. But right now, a lot of pieces are in place, and they're focusing on the quality. That's okay. So that's the biggest thing they did. I think a few years ago they said we're not gonna bring everything back, but we're gonna focus on a few key things, and we're gonna make them really good. And I think we're seeing that. You can't promise everything will be good. That's just not realistic. But you can but I think we're seeing quality work, and we're seeing and I think you can see how proud the developers are in RGG Studios, but also in the Atlas division. You know, this might not be the most exciting year for Atlas, but last year and next year are. You know, but you know, it's RGG is definitely the exciting one this year. So we're looking at a lot of different things with Sega, and I love Vanillaware, so I'll always support Vanillaware, but that's always going to be like a 5 to 10 year plan with them, you know. But that's part of the Atlas brand, and this year is the only year I've really been playing Sonic games much. Like I actually like Sonic Frontiers, but Sonic Shadow Generation surprised me. So that said, this is an exciting time to be a Sega fan, and I think, to answer the question again, why now for Virtua Fighter? I think things are lining up, and I think this is for the best. And actually, I do believe that the older team was going to make amazing Virtua Fighter games, but right now this has become very, very exciting. And you guys know how much I love Final Showdown and Revo. Final Showdown is technically my favorite because I'm still judging Revo, but I really love Revo a lot. I really, really love it a lot. So Final Showdown and Revo, I'm living my favorite Virtua Fighter era right now. But this new upcoming Virtua Fighter era is so exciting. We're gonna see how that goes. We'll really see how that goes. But again, it's also because of Sega. There are things to look at too. I think Sega's global focus, it feels more focused to me. I don't know how about you guys. To me, Sega's global focus, including the Western market, feels more united and strong and present than I felt before. And I loved old people that I've met in Sega. I do. I haven't met many, but in the past, during Final Showdown and others, I've met some, and they were cool. They were really cool. But as a whole, as a company, right now, it does feel better. Could it be even better? Yes, it could. It could totally be even better. But I do feel that right now it's feeling better than it was before. I feel like it's just more united. And I do think, again, if you want to look at the recent history on Sega, there are changes. There were changes in Sega Europe, and there were awesome people in Sega Europe, but sadly they're not there anymore. But that said, the focus was a bit different when Sega Europe was kind of more of the influence on global Sega. Right now, it looks like Sega of America has a strong influence on Sega. And so I think that's a good thing. But I think, and it shows on where their focuses are. Sega Europe is still important, still very important, still really huge actually. It's just that in the last 2 years it looks like it's restructuring. Or it was restructured 2 years ago. But Sega of America right now, especially because of the presence of Shuji Utsumi, but Sega as a whole, its global focus seems better. And I do think we'll see more of that, fruits of that labor from the team, from the games, from everything else. But, I've been looking at it more recently because I've just been curious, and I've been also curious why I feel hyped, right? And so and part of it was, okay, follow Shuji Utsumi, what's going on there, and then part of it was, okay, let's look at their annual reports, and that's where I kind of get a lot of this info. And then let's look at all the interviews that have been released, and let's listen to some of the podcast episodes. I've been doing that for a bit, and it's been exciting. So that's where what I'm relaying to you guys comes from. But but it is really exciting, and you know, like I said, I wish I could be in there. That would be a dream come true. But that said, as a fan, that's how this looks to me. And as a fan, that's why it feels exciting. And why Virtua Fighter seems to be happening the right way right now. Kind of the best way it could, to be honest. I think the way they've been going about Virtua Fighter these past few years, I guess we're going to say past 5 years. 4 years, actually. 5 years. Is better than what I could have dreamed of about 10 years ago. I think it's much better. I think it's got more focus. Yes, there's ups and downs, 100%. But I think it's been so much better to be a VF fan under this, a Western VF fan. Japanese VF fan, I think we're always pretty happy. But I think to be a Western VF fan feels way better right now in the last 5 years for me than almost ever, aside from my childhood, right? So, but yeah.
Round 3.
Yeah, with Project L, it was 2XKO. It still takes me a bit, but I'm used to it now, and that is the name. But I also feel like Project L sounded kind of cooler to me, you know. But the team, it's the team's right to choose their name. But it's my right to say my opinion on it, you know. But I actually think that the game is good, and I think that I'm actually excited for how 2XKO goes going forward. I don't know how much I'll play it. I want to play it actually, because it is one of the games that's more interesting to me. But I don't think I have the time to play it. I barely have the time to play the VF I want to right now. But I would love to. I think 2XKO though is really cool, and also that team is really awesome. How can you not like that team that's working on 2XKO? Like, how can you not? If you know who's on the team, how can you not like that team? That is a dream team. So yeah. I think next generations. So Box Jackie was joking after Rayblade about how I think the name of the game will be Virtua Fighter 6 the next generation. You know, here's a question I'd ask you guys, because I think it's hard to move on from your favorite characters. Now Luke and JP have been very popular, so Street Fighter 5 proven us wrong. But like Mortal Kombat, how many of the new generation cast do you guys like more than the old cast? Do you guys like Cassie Cage more? Maybe Kenji. I think Kenji's popular. Let me know if you like the new generation Mortal Kombat cast more than the old cast, because I'm curious about that. They didn't click with me at all. I followed the story just so I can get back to the story containing the old cast, but I'm an old fart. Maybe a new generation loves the new cast. The new generation. Duran, we should definitely work on our Okazemi sometime. I would love to do that. So Dr. Artbox says, just keep new Virtua Fighter project, and that's project name is Stella. That sounds cool.
Ready, go!
Yeah, Reaper, I really think they're doing amazing with their IPs. I think it's been a lot of work going into what they're doing now with their IPs, as I mentioned earlier, and I think we're seeing the fruits of that labor. Things like this I don't think they happen that much on accident. Some things do. 90s game development, definitely a lot of accidents, but I think this brand re-energization in Sega is this, I think that is no accident. Definitely interesting idea on this new Sega console. Just like they keep talking about the Sega, like a super game, but then the super game sounds like a Netflix of Sega libraries. But then again, there's a lot of scary things happening in the world of digital entertainment that makes you worry about that too. So I don't know what to expect, but I know that they've been talking about it, but it might just be something to tease the investors. But but it seems very real. So I'm very curious and intrigued, but I wonder, you know. That said, something that is cool, if you want like something that's like a museum of stuff, I think the Atari retro collection that came out like a year ago is really cool. I need to go back to that because that thing was really sick. Jet Set Radio series would be really cool. It sounds like, I mean, it could end up being like, that could be the game that goes on for a while. It could be a service game. We'll see. I am curious how the Skate game works out. Because Skate is a property that I'm glad is back, but I feel sad that there's not that much hype for it. Because I think Skate is a really awesome series. But I haven't tried the new one. I need to try it out and see for myself. Shotgun the Forever Man. I don't know anything about Shotgun. I think they'll make a new 3D Shinobi, but I would love it. I love the Shinobi games on PS2. Oh my gosh, so good. Sega Swirl 2025. Super Game Project, yeah. The Super Game Project has been, again, it's a very interesting topic. They're so vague on that thing, but it comes up every year if you read those annual reports.
I won't go easy on you.
Socrate says, I wish Sega would start hyping it instead of nothing burgers like TGS. TGS means something to me, so I've never been to TGS, but it's still, I like these kind of events, but I know that things may change in the future. So yeah, Sega almost folding was a sad period. Happy they're back. I am so happy Sega's back. When they say Virtua Fighter is back, it's also like Sega is back, like the Sega. Yeah, Hyenas. I feel bad because I think Creative Assembly is a really cool studio, and again, I have memories of the Total War series of the earlier games, and so, but the newer games look interesting. I just haven't had the time to play them. But with Hyenas, that definitely seemed very unfortunate. It was probably the right call, I'm sure, but it feels very, very unfortunate. Yeah, Streets of Rage 4 is so good. And Shinobi is so good. Yeah, no, I think Sega's doing very well as a publisher. Metawatt saved Virtua Fighter today. Congratulations, that's awesome. Keep up the good fight. Was it the Jeffrey Metawatt, was that you that asked the Jeffrey question? So, because that was an awesome question with an awesome answer. I like that declaration Yamada-san gave, right? Like, the score must be settled now. The time to settle the score is now. Revo could use more dress up. Yeah, it could. It definitely could. I'm not going to dispute that. Hey, Enfang, it's so good to see you. Thank you very much. Sorry I'm late on these replies. It's too bad with Gigo about, especially the, it's too bad that Akihabara Gigo, right, closed just now. It's not Akihabara, I'm trying to remember which one, but I feel really bad about Sega. I'm really sad about Japanese arcades closing, that the era is kind of now here, and I'm sad about that. I'm really happy that I got to experience a lot of Asian arcades the last 2 years. Bronx Jackie bought shares in Sega, told them to release VO6. Hell yeah. That's an activist investor for you. Yeah, I do love all of Yamada-san's interviews. And I actually like Aoki's interviews a lot too. But yeah, those two have been doing awesome on the interview circuit. Happy Friday, Syrup. Thank you very much. Thank you all very much for joining me today, and I love that this stream turned into a conversation about this stuff. I'm going to catch up on this stuff before I have to go, because I'm going to go take care of family, and then I do have an offline session tonight. I'll be sparring with it's going to be really good competition tonight, so it's going to be a lot of fun. and I really had fun on ranked. Good battle with Lightwing Dragon. I really liked that Leon player, KamadaP. Really good stuff. I really liked it. Like, I think there's a lot of good stuff that I saw from them that is like, I'm gonna borrow that. I'm gonna integrate some of that, especially the 4PUs. But yeah.
Ready, go!
Super Famicom. Oh, definitely appreciate your feedback, Super Famicom.
Round 4. Ready, go!
It was interesting when he said he comes from TV Fighters. But I think it was good of him to be very forward with it. VF Retro Collection, again, that goes into the topic of this quote-unquote super game. We're going to see how Sega decides to represent their retro material. The reason you have to wonder about it is because of how much retro material they've pulled off of digital storefronts. So it really feels like this thing is real, that they're going to present their retro material in some unified place or line. And I don't know which approach they'll take. I kind of hope it's a unified approach, just because I think people have found that the line approach doesn't work so well. Like, it should. But as you guys are saying, you guys want collections. You don't want to buy each game. And I think the consumers have spoken. So it's going to be as a collection. Now, how's that collection presented? We'll see. It sounds like it might be a service, but we'll see what it is. In which case, a service, it could be like, you could use a subscription model for that to kind of build the collection up, and then it's a fuller and fuller collection over time, as opposed to individually buying, right? I wouldn't be surprised if they do a subscription system. But right now, this is kind of a hard time for subscriptions. And the problem with subscriptions is the topic of churn. The topic of churn is that people only want to be able to subscribe 1, 2, 3 months. They don't want to subscribe for a whole year. They know they'll get a good deal of that. But especially right now, when people are having hard times with their income, the new dynamic, traditionally you would say that the first spending people would cut would be restaurant spending, right? But now it's almost like the first thing people would cut would be subscriptions and then restaurant spending. So I think in that environment, there's a lot of thinking that has to go into that, into like whether you want to do a subscription model or not, and how you want to structure it, and what the commitment terms are, and what the pricing is. But I think there's a way to work it. But the problem is that people value, even though video games technically make more money and give more return than a movie, people quote unquote value video games less than movies in terms of their dollars, in terms of their wallet, not in terms of how they use them, not in terms of how much they love them or keep with it, but in terms of how people spend. I think people value video games less than they value movies. So because of that, it's a lot of food for thought. That pricing proposition is really interesting and challenging because of that. And trying to go with what's fair is hard on their side of the equation. So, and it's not gonna translate to fair on the customer's side of the equation. So I think that also, then that would lean towards you gotta buy stuff, and then the consumer's like, why can't we just get it all with a subscription? And then we go back to that question. I think there's a big loop of questions there. Virtua Fighter 3 TV has an arcade port on the Like a Dragon games, and it's a really good emulator. No, Marco, I disagree. So Marco says it seems like they have very few resources for Legacy Virtua Fighter project and everything is on Revo support. That's not true at all. Very little is on Revo support, but Revo is the current game, so it gets marketing right now. It gets marketing focus. It gives you a more concrete response. But without a doubt, Legacy Virtua Fighter project has an insanely higher budget and resource and staff and everything allocated to it, and expectation allocated to it. Or Virtua Fighter project. But the Legacy Virtua Fighter project, okay, you're talking about the Legacy. So, but Legacy Virtua Fighter project, yeah, not as much as like new Virtua Fighter project. I'm sorry to misstate you, Marco. So new Virtua Fighter project has all the budgets. Legacy Virtua Fighter project is a way to communicate to the company that there is a bigger vision than Revo, but Revo is the current focus, as we just said. So yes, more of the budget is on Revo now, and Revo's success will definitely have an impact on the prospects of continuing Legacy Virtua Fighter project. Sorry, Revo. Sorry, Marco, for misrepresenting you earlier. I hope that makes more sense. And I hope that's more satisfactory as a response. So yeah, I hope VF Legacy can continue, and I hope it does very well. That said, Revo is pretty much all of its focus at the moment. We'll see going forward. We'll see how it looks going forward. I think Shinobi Legions is pretty fun and good, but it feels its age, it looks its age, but I like it. Yeah, and it does have more close combat, but a lot of people are unable to play Shinobi Legions without, you know, ripping a CD, a DVD, and running a Mister nowadays. Now that Mister can do Saturn. Yeah, Lizard Cube's amazing, and I know Ray has always talked about how good Wonder Boy is, so I do need to sometime play Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap remake, because especially with how much I like the Lizard Cube stuff that came later. Yeah, Ray has always championed Wonder Boy, and so when I think of Wonder Boy, I do think of Rayblade.
Round one. Ready, go!
And Feng, yeah, sorry about that. By the way, pro tip, if you're stuck in an ad, you can usually go to YouTube and watch and catch what I'm saying over there with less chance of an ad. So that is one way to hack it, is you can go onto YouTube and watch without the ad as much. I do see the replies in the YouTube as well. Yeah. This not to dismiss it. It does help me. Honestly, the revenue has helped me quite a bit. I've been able to invest in some things for the stream because of the money made from Twitch and now from YouTube as well. So yes, YouTube will also sometimes have ads because my YouTube account is at partner status now. So it's true that I'll be getting it, but it really does help me. I'll try to find other ways to make it a little better to support me if you want. So there will be, stuff like stickers and all that and chat stuff. And I might, do like memberships for people that want to pay for sessions or something. But honestly, you guys know that I like to do a lot of this stuff pro bono as well, because I just love spreading the love of Virtua Fighter. But if you guys want to help me out, you're welcome to. And I appreciate it a lot because it really does help. It also helps my wife understand it in financial terms, right? So, because this does, the kids are like waiting for me to finish up here, right? But I just love doing this with you guys, and of course, getting that next job would be even better. So we'll see about that. Still something I'm working on, but it's been a blast. Today was a lot of fun. Thank you guys so much. I don't mind having Chan chats. But yeah. Thanks for the support, though. Thank you guys very much for the support. So yeah, but if you guys feel free to let me know what you guys would like for support. I know people do want emojis and stuff. I think I might be able to get emojis in the future pretty soon. But I'll try to get some other stuff too for those that really want that. But and I think they'll be good. I think when you guys see the logo, you like it. Yeah, the $200 a month Chanchai Inner Circle, hell yeah. Hey, every little bit helps. Every bit helps. It really does. So that said, I am gonna close this here because you guys have been awesome. But we're gonna raid for sure. And thank you guys very much. I think this was an awesome chat. I hope people are enjoying their dinner. I think I know people had different feelings this week. I had a good week, but definitely I know Sega marketing would like to feel better than they probably feel this week when it comes to the Western fighting game community. But I think this episode gives them a lot to work with. They 100% will do better because they've been doing better on almost everything else. And even on this one, I think, again, I get it on this one. So for me, I'm okay. But it definitely could be better and lessons will be learned. But it's also an opportunity for people to say how they feel. When people do get upset like they do get, that is a good time for them to really say how they feel, really say what they want to say about Virtua Fighter. And you get a lot of good truths at those times. I think Sega will be using this opportunity for that, 100%. Okay. We might do LD Wells, who's doing Quack Fu right now. I don't know what Quack Fu is, but I think he might be talking about Virtua Fighter. Let's see who else.
Round one. Ready, go!
Okay, we're gonna raid LD Wells because also good conversations. Peace, y'all. Thank you so much. Let's go get that raid started.
Knockout.
Really? Not showing it here? Come on.
Ready, go! Excellent.
Already have a raid in progress. Here we go. All right, we're gonna raid now. Thank you all so much. You all have an awesome one. I'll see you a bit later. I do plan to stream sometime this weekend, so we'll do it. We're gonna do another training session too. Everyone on YouTube, thank you very much. We are watching Black Belt Spartan versus D's. After this match, I'll go ahead and end the stream. But I hope you guys are enjoying it. I know Black Belt Spartan is sometimes controversial, but I do like chatting with them in VF. And when we do have matches, I do enjoy the matches personally. But I also have a lot more patience, but I know exactly why people do not like fighting him, and I'm not going to dispute that at all. Deez is doing awesome though here. Oh, that could have been really good. It wouldn't have won it, but it would have been good.
Round five. Ready,
Alright, let's see how this goes. Very good. I like that. It was an interesting way to punish, but it was good still. One of the reflexes to build as a Leon, and I'm working on it, is when you evade a crouching attack with Leon, you really, sidekick PKP is like your friend. Unless you can do something bigger, like his from crouch 6P plus K. But honestly, that sidekick PKP could also get you a wall combo. So it's just like it's your higher priority. So you want to build that reflex when you evade. If you see that you evaded a crouch attack,